Welcome to Monday Motivation. Today, we're going to talk about protect your peace of mind in challenging times. Peace isn't found, it's protected. So, hello, friends. I want to begin today with a question for you. If peace of mind is priceless, why do we give it away so easily? Think about it. Peace is something every one of us longs for, something we know money cannot buy. Yet when life gets toxic, upsetting, or overwhelming, peace is often the first thing we lose. We surrender it to negative voices, emotions, stressful situations, and even our own racing thoughts. We just let it go to something else. We give it away. That's what I want to talk about today. Is why do we give away our peace? If we haven't met, my name is Terri Sterk. I am a wellness coach and author. I serve women who have endured traumatic events to help them thrive by nurturing their body, mind, and spirit. So today I invite you into a conversation about what it looks like to protect your peace of mind in the midst of challenging times, because protecting your peace is not selfish, it's strength, it's courage, and it is the foundation of true well-being. We don't have to look far to see how fragile peace can feel, whether it's news on the global, national, or a state level, or in your own city or neighborhood. Just this past week, we've walked through the weight of the 9/11 remembrance, the heartbreak of another school shooting, and the shock of a public murder. These are heavy realities that convince us that normal isn't coming back. And when there's the weight we carry in our personal lives on top of all that. So our difficult relationships, draining interactions, overwhelming situations, uncertain outcomes. Maybe it's personal loss, a health crisis, workplace conflict, or unhappiness with our job, family struggles. Perhaps it's something else, or maybe more than one of these, all at the same time. Whatever the circumstance, peace of mind can feel impossible. So here's the key. Peace is not the absence of trouble. It's learning not to let the problem get inside of you. So first of all, let's discuss why we give away our peace. Let's dig into the tricky question. Why do we give it away when something is so priceless? Peace can actually be a scarce commodity at times, or at least feel that way. But first of all, we equate peace with control. We think if I fix this situation or change this person, then I'll have peace. But peace isn't about control. It's about surrender. We internalize negativity. This is another reason we give away our peace. Sometimes people say that something is hurtful, and instead of letting it pass through us, we carry it like a stone in our pocket, and it rolls around in our head like marbles. We internalize that negativity. Why do we do that? The third is that we undervalue our worth. Sometimes we don't believe we deserve peace. We settle for chaos. The fourth answer might be that we stay plugged into noise. Constant news, social media arguments, endless distractions, these all keep our minds stirred up and drains our spirits. Do any of these sound familiar? Recognizing these patterns in your life is the first step in reclaiming peace. So once we are recognizing patterns, and we just talked about 4 of them, once we do that, if that's the first step, then what's next? So let's talk about how we can protect our peace. Protecting peace doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention. Let me offer a few ways to protect your peace. First is to pause before reacting. In a toxic or heated situation, your silence is more powerful than words spoken in anger. Or you're at the doctor's office, and before you jump to judgment or conclusions about what you're told, maybe you step back and ask a few questions that add clarity to your understanding. This can help protect your peace. How about creating boundaries? Protect your time, your emotional energy, your physical space. You can love people and still say no to an invitation. You can hold on to your boundary when it makes sense for you. Another way is to refocus your thoughts. When you dwell on what you dwell on continues to grow in your head. It doesn't dissipate. It just keeps going. Instead of rehearsing negativity, choose gratitude, prayer, or your favorite affirmations. It's amazing when you fill your head with positive instead of negative, you start to change your brain so that you think differently. Another is to release what you cannot control. Some storms just aren't ours to settle. It's someone else's problem, and we get emotionally involved, but it's really not ours to solve. Or it's something no one can control, like a health condition or a chronic situation. And, we're leaning on our doctors to guide us and to give us solutions. These things we cannot control. We end up being participants and asking lots of questions to be clear, to make sure we understand. But we can't control it, so why do we try? It's about giving situations the space they need to unfold and evolve. So hand them over to God. Then He can plan the right time for the problems to be addressed, or pass it on to a wisdom greater than your own. Get help from other people. Another one is to ground yourself daily. If you're breathing, using breathing exercises, if you're journaling, if you're taking walks, eating healthy, doing all the right things to balance your nervous system and keep anxiety controlled and managed, that's going to help you protect your peace as well. Because then when something comes up, something that is hurtful or some bad news, then you're better equipped physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You're better equipped to handle it and protect your peace. Each of these practices is like a lock on the door of your peace. You decide who and what gets in. Your door isn't wide open. You decide. So without peace in our lives, we may feel like we're waiting for the next traumatic event to occur. This was me. Maybe it's been you. I told the story in my book, Nurture Emotional Well-Being for Women. So when I look back over the past 20 years, my life had its share of difficult seasons. Each one has shaped who I am today. I'll begin in 2003. That was right around my 40th birthday. And while raising young children, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It came out of nowhere. I was young and unaware that something like that could happen. A few years later, in 2006, my family went through the loss of a loved one who took his own life. Then, 2011, my mom passed away after a brief illness that same year. And I lost my job shortly after that. I had had that job for 2 decades. Then in 2013, I faced a second breast cancer diagnosis. And in 2015, my dad passed away after a long decline with dementia and loss of his motor skills. The years that followed brought more challenges. A close friend lost her life to metastatic breast cancer in 2016. My mother-in-law passed away after a long illness in 2017. And I went through another job loss, along with family estrangement that remains unresolved today. At times, I found myself asking, what's next? One thing after another. And this was my personal situation, without even considering what might be happening out in the world. The constant stress that we feel today, I felt then as well. The weight of grief made healing feel really hard. But here's what I learned. Even in the middle of all of that, there were small ways to protect my peace. It wasn't about making everything better all at once. It was about taking one step at a time. So over the years, these small steps started to build resilience. and eventually hope. So let me ask you this. When life feels overwhelming, what's one small step you can take to protect your peace? Ask yourself, what situations tend to rob me of peace the quickest? Another question is, am I giving my peace away to things I cannot control? What boundary do I need to set to protect my mind and my heart? If peace is priceless, what am I willing to do differently this week to guard it? I encourage you to write your answers to these questions. It will help you determine how to protect your peace so that when bad things happen or uncertainty lands in your plate all over again, you're better able to handle it. I can tell you, I have gotten better. I've gotten much better at managing the difficulties and the hardships of life. I've learned how to do it better. And in my book, I give you pointers on that as well. Peace becomes more real when you write it down, when you put language to it, when you're actually being intentional. One of the resources I lean on and share with many women that I coach is from my book, Nurture Emotional Wellbeing for Women. In it, I guide you through reframing your thoughts, turning destructive inner dialogue into life-giving truth. It's those destructive thoughts that plague us. We're worrying or we have conflict happening, and so our mind is just turning it over and over and over. Here's a simple journaling prompt that's in my book. Write down a thought or memory that's stealing your peace. Ask, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Then rewrite it into a statement of strength. For example, instead of their words broke my heart, you could write, I choose to define myself by truth, not by negativity. This practice can slowly rewire your brain and helps you to respond when the world shakes your peace. So as we close today, remember this. Peace of mind isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you protect. We live in a world with constant storms, negativity, chaos, but you have the power to decide what lives inside of you, what you're going to carry with you, and what you can just pass on. So ask yourself one last time, if peace is priceless, why am I giving it away so easily? And what step can I take today to guard it? So friends, protect your peace. It's not just for you, it's for everyone who depends on you and loves you and spends time with you. They want you to be strong and have strength. I'd like to share a short devotion with you today. People often remind us, peace be with you. Have peace. Trust God's plan. Well, I do trust him, but usually I'm also afraid. I still have fear. The truth is, both can exist at the same time. I can trust God, but also have fear at the same time because I'm human. Maybe God's peace isn't the absence of fear. Maybe his peace is his presence. Right there in the middle of your breaking point. Jesus says in John 14:27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Some days the do not be afraid part feels impossible. Other days it feels possible. If you've ever felt like you're supposed to have peace, but instead you're just holding on by a thread, know this, you are not alone. So many of us live that way. But I assure you, there is a way to get through it, a way to live a more peaceful existence. Faith with trembling hands is still faith. So thank you for joining me today. I'd love to hear your reflections and what steps you're taking to protect your peace this week. Share it in the comments or message me directly. If this video encouraged you, please share it with someone who might need the reminder that they can protect their peace too. So take care of your peace because it truly is the most valuable gift you can give yourself. Until next time, I'm cheering you on. Goodbye.